Good afternoon, ladies. Good afternoon. It's Wednesday. I did not get hold up on it this time around. It's Wednesday. So you know what we do, because it is the Leading Ladies Conference, we get to pop in. Yes, we get to pop in and chat with you on 2 extra days other than a Friday. So today we get to speak to one of the guest speakers of the Leading Lady Conference. So you know what you're going to do. It's 12 o'clock. Yes, it's 12 o'clock, baby. Grab your lunch, grab your cup of tea, and grab me and join us in the Royal Courts, because I am super excited about what we're going to talk about today. It's deep. You know, every time I show up, we have something deep to talk about. So grab your girlfriends, tag, share, invite, let them know that we are in the Royal Courts and it's about to get down here. So I'll see you in a few minutes.
Get ready for the Royalty Talk Show with host Portia Basham, the podcast designed for women who are looking to be inspired, motivated, and encouraged. Whether you're just starting out in your career or raising a family, the Royalty Talk Show has something for you. This is your opportunity for empowerment and affirmation. Get blessed with amazing stories from women of all walks of life who want to share their truths and victories and impact the lives of women everywhere. This is your cordial invitation to join us as we sip tea, chat, and empower each other on the Royalty Talk Show and podcast with your host, Portia Basham.
Well, good afternoon, ladies. Good afternoon and welcome. Welcome to another episode of the Royalty Talk Show. And you know, for those who are just coming to us on this platform and have no clue who we are, the Royalty Talk Show is all about where we discuss everything that encompasses us as women, encompasses us as leading ladies, encompasses us as royalty ladies. So we get the opportunity to talk about our family, our friendship, our faith, our finances, and everything that fulfill us in the stage and age that we are in. So I would like you to go ahead and spread the broadcast, spread it, tag, invite, share, call a girlfriend, tell her that we are on, and meet us in the Royal Courts. And do you want to know why we call it the Royal Courts? Let me tell you why we call it the Royal Courts. Because when the Queen, may she rest in peace, when the Queen would have talked with her girlfriends, guess what? They would all come into the Royal Courts. You get the Duchess, you get all these ladies, all those prestigious ladies come together and they chat. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to come and we're going to chat. We're going to put our gloves on the side, grab our cup of tea, and we're just going to be ladies and chat, learn, cry, laugh, roll our nose, roll our eyes, and just laugh some more. So this is what we do in the Royal Courts. So I encourage you, grab a friend, let them know that we are here, invite and share, okay? So for those who do not know me and those who do, I am your host, Dr. Portia Basham. I am the host of the best podcast in the world. And if I keep saying it, it's going to be so, and so it is. So I am the host of the best podcast in the world, and I am your brand and business strategist. I am your best-selling author. I am your international speaker, but I am also the minister of the gospel and the founder of She Ministries. Yes, baby, She Ministries. For those who do not know who we are an online community for the leading ladies of royalty. This is where we come and we learn how to balance life. We come and we learn how to balance life and business while still trying to figure out how we could heal from those things that keep us from enjoying life to the fullest. So this is what She Ministries is all about. But today, we get to chat with our guests. Now, you know, every time we come on to this broadcast, I admit that I could really do wrong to somebody's name. I always say that. And I'm going to do my best. Going into 2023, I'm going to do my best to make sure I do not take down anybody's name. So I believe I'm going to do her justice. And I'm so proud of myself. I could put my crown on right now. I'm so proud of myself because I'm going to do her name justice. Jalen Jones. Oh, baby, come on now. I could run around the room. Somebody say amen. Say amen. So she is the founder of Black Pretty and Paid University, creator of the first, let me make sure I say it right, HBCU Inspired Business Conference. So she's a bad mama jamma, baby. She's a bad mama jamma with green hair. Okay, with green hair. So you know how we do. Yes. So I'm going to bring her on and we get the pleasure of picking her brains because she's going to talk to us about supernatural success, the science of shifting your identity as a woman entrepreneur. That is, listen, that right there is a conference all by itself. It's deep, okay? But when we get back after that, what we say, the ad, after the short break, we are going to get the chance to speak with her and to pick her brains a little bit, okay? We'll see you in a few minutes. Well, 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 well. Now, before we even start our conversation, let me just say to the young ladies, the ladies of all ages, ladies, I would like to encourage you to go out and register. Go to sheministriestv.com and register to be part of the 2-day upcoming conference on March 10th and 11th. And now that I have said that, I have put out all the what they call it, the announcements. We've set the announcements and we've set our table clear and clean. Now we could chat. So Coach Jalen, come on, baby. Come on, come on.
Yes. Yes.
I love it. You are matching my energy, and that is fantastic.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Oh, baby, listen, anytime at all. So we get the pleasure to chat with you today. So before we do, tell us a little about yourself and also give us a fun fact. You know what? Let's just add an extra fun fact just for you. Give us 2 fun facts.
2 fun facts. All right. Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm Jalen Jones, Vision to Profit business coach. I help fierce female founders level up their personal brand to sell out of their programs, services, products, utilizing profitable events, and really excited to be a part of the Leading Ladies Conference.
Woo!
Fun facts. The first fun fact is that I am a new pet mommy.
Baby, we have a lot to talk about. I got 2 of those here. Okay, so we got stuff to talk about.
I was really excited because at first I thought he was going to be a co-host on this show today. I was just like, please don't say anything. And my other fun fact is that I pretty much adopt that home is wherever I am. I was raised in Georgia, born in California, raised in Virginia, went to school in North Carolina, went back to Los Angeles. Now I'm back in Georgia. So whenever anyone asks me where I'm from, I pretty much giggle. I let them guess, detect my accent, tell me where I'm from. But the truth is, I just wholeheartedly believe the home is wherever I am. I am home right now.
I love it. I love the fact that you say home is wherever you are. You know why? Because there is nowhere you go and you actually get the people who were raised and born in that particular space.
Yeah.
Everybody migrates to somewhere and call it home. So you are right about that. Home is wherever you are. Because I'm originally from St. Lucia in the Caribbean. And look, we're in South Florida. So yes, home is, let's just bring up the puppies for a minute. So I'm going to put a disclaimer, everybody. I am going to put a disclaimer. If you hear my co-host, because
Okay.
the time, mine have a thing or two to say. Okay, I try to make sure I give the memo early in advance. No conversations, no adding
Mhm.
your 2 cents to my. You're gonna hear it in the background somehow or the other. So yes, I
There it
understand.
goes. And
I
you just gave
completely.
the whole disclaimer for me, so I think we're good.
We good. We just throw it there. We good now.
Absolutely.
So I get the pleasure of chatting with you about your topic, and I found that your topic was heavy but so needed, and we are going to, in order for everybody to understand it, because it is a lot said in that one statement. So in
Mm.
order for everybody to understand it, we're going to break it down, and I will start off first by saying, how did you come up with such a topic?
Yeah, great question. Honestly, it came to me at some point last year. It came to me at some point last year, and then there was an event that I went to that was also celebrating leading ladies, and that's when the topic became more evolved. So the truth is, as a business coach, when most are looking for a business coach, they're looking for a person that is going to help them make more money. That's going to solve their business problems. But the thing that's different about me is that I move all of that garbage out of the way, because those are the easiest things for us to do, is to find strategy and to make more money and to do all of that good jazz. We're leading ladies, for Pete's sake. We know how to lead in our businesses and our lives, etc. But the last thing that we tend to lead is ourselves, right? And that's typically because there's some breakdown in who we're deciding to show up as, who we're
Yes.
deciding to be, and identity is what that is. Some people call it mindset. I call it identity. And I believe there's a science to shifting who you say you are to being who you actually know you're assigned to be. And what does that process look like when you explain it? And that is the science of shifting your identity.
I love it. Now, let me ask you one question, because I have a sense of feeling your answer might be different than everybody else's. What is your definition of success?
Absolutely. Well, funny that you asked that. A part of what I talk about when we discover this science to shifting our identity is the etymology and definition of supernatural success and science. And so I like to look at things from what is the definition of the word, not what we've created success to be. What is the like bare bones definition, which is
Mhm,
success equals result, success is an outcome, success
mhm,
is coming up, success
mhm.
is an advance. So when I say supernatural success, I'm talking about a supernatural result, a supernatural outcome of sorts, a coming up, an advancement. That's what I define as a success, is the result that we tend to be seeking outside of
Yes.
ourselves,
Mhm.
being internal.
I love that. The results we are seeking. Now, out of you are right. Out of 100% of the time, we are so busy looking at the way we make money. How can we make money, that we never take the time to learn who we are, who we represent, and who we are really called to, for us to be able to evolve properly. Without those, we're not saying that you wouldn't have challenges, but when you put those aspects together, you are able to handle the challenges much better.
Absolutely.
And one of the questions that came across the table, especially for your topic, were so in your opinion, what are some of the biggest roadblocks that women face, African American women,
Yeah.
or just women in general face when it comes to achieving their idea of success?
Yes. I think the biggest roadblock could be defined by, like, there was this client that messaged me one day, and this moved me. This is greater than anyone ever telling me, Jalen, you helped me make X, Y, and Z amount of money. She said to me, she has multiple children and she's married. She's very accomplished. She said, Jalen, you helped me realize that I became a wife and a mother before I truly identify with who I was as a woman. Right. And so I feel like what what the challenge or roadblock tends to be is that we are the out we're focused on the outward, and at some
Yes.
point when you were expanding who you are, you will be, for lack of better words, you will be forced to look at yourself in the mirror.
Yes.
You'll be forced to look at yourself in the mirror differently, separate from accolades and achievements and
Mhm.
honors and
Mhm.
titles and
Yes.
mom, wife, Mr., Mrs., whatever abbreviations you have behind your name that we've worked hard for.
Yeah.
But the moment we decide to separate our identity from those things, that's when it gets real. That's when we
Yes.
identify the woman versus the whatever, fill in the blank, you know?
I will tell you, I've heard people say it before, but I think it's until you, the person, find yourself in that position, it never really resonates with you what people say. I've heard people say, when I turned 40, I saw things differently. I
Mhm.
heard a lot of people say that when I turned 40, when I turned 50, all of a sudden I start to look at things differently. And it is true. When you get to a particular age,
Yep.
I call it 25 plus shipping and handling. When you get to 25 plus shipping and handling, baby, you start to look, you start to look at things totally different. You start to say to
Mm.
yourself, what did I do with my first 40? And what do I intend to do with the 40 ahead? What did I accomplish outside of being a mother and outside of being a wife? Because let me tell you, for those who are married with children, when those children have grown and go out of the house, you are still a woman.
Yes.
You are still a woman, and you have to figure out how to still keep living life
Mhm.
after all of this. That's why you get a lot of women saying, I don't know what to do now that my children are gone, because my whole life was centered around raising them,
Mhm.
around doing things with them. And we're not saying not to be mothers. We're just saying you need to figure out a way to balance that for you. Balance that for so that you do not feel like as if you've just, you out, what they call it, the fish out of water, because you have no idea as to how to move on when the seasons change and things come in and things come out.
Absolutely.
And I love what you said about that. We have to see ourselves. You start to think, okay, Portia, what can you do? What can you do? What we used to say back home, with your eyes shut
Mm.
and you get a pen and you could write it. What can you do? What is the one thing you do effortlessly, but you enjoy doing it? That you now
Absolutely.
take it and turn it around and make money for you, or it bring you joy. What's that one thing? And most people would sit down there and they will go, well,
Yep.
oh, hmm.
It takes them, and whenever we hear the well and the and that pause, that is us trying to find our internal compass that we lost. Like, you're like, well, where is it? Which way? What am I supposed to be doing? And this whole thing, oh, my co-host is really having fun with the fact I'm focused right now. But that internal compass that we lost, like we don't know which direction we're even
Yes.
supposed to go in, that's where we want to fill that gap. So that the
Yes.
next time someone asks us that question, we can confidently and boldly say whatever it is that we're supposed to say with a knowing, with a deep knowing. And that's where identity comes into play.
Oof. So I have two questions. One is, and I don't know which one comes before, but you could puzzle it together. I will ask one. How important is self-confidence when it comes to being
Mhm.
successful, especially as a woman? And then number two, how can we shift our identity? Just give me a little taste. Don't give me the whole meal now. You
Yes,
need to leave the meal for the conference. But how can we shift that identity as women entrepreneurs to get that increase or get the chance for success?
yes. I would say the first how is to understand that once you realize that your identity shifting is layers deep, that's the first part. Because I thought that I was at age 30, I thought that I knew myself, right? I just knew that I knew myself. I've done all this deep work.
Oh, please.
Right, exactly. Like, so this thing is layers deep, and we
Yes.
have to be willing to revisit it as we continue to evolve, not being so attached to whatever identity we are at 30, because that may not be the same identity at 40. So that's
Come
the
on,
first.
baby. Mm-mm. It's not because what you were thinking. What I will take that. What I was thinking in my 20s, when my
Mhm.
30s hit, it was different. In my 20s, it was all about my career, what
Yeah,
it is, how to get that career, what degrees you need, what to put in the work and work in the long hours. It was all about career. I
yeah,
hit 30s and it was all about I want a baby. I want a baby. I want a family. I want a family. I want a family. Your body, your biological clock start to tick, and you're like, ooh, ah, ooh, everything is ooh and ah. And then you hit your 40s, you're like, oh boy, they're still here. Jesus.
yep,
You see what I mean? It changes. And let me tell you something. You have to be ready to evolve with it.
yep,
Because at each stage, there's something different that gives you the fulfillment to keep moving forward.
yes, that's it.
It's different. So the thing that used to fulfill you in your 20s and 30s, baby, when
Yeah,
you hit 50, it doesn't fulfill you anymore. You want something different. You are now mature. The things that used to, so get you all worked up doesn't even phase you anymore, So I get that and I love it. Now, I think our last question was how important is self confidence when it comes to
it's everything. Confidence is the currency of the knowing.
I love it. The currency.
Yeah,
Yes.
like
Mhm.
I operate in confidence.
Yes.
That's what I'm operating in. Like if I was on the channel, I'd be on channel confident. I'm
Yes.
operating in it. I'm operating in it to the point where when someone sees me, they see that before they see me.
Yes.
Confidence comes with a light,
Yes. I
and
like that.
it changes everything.
Ooh.
It changes everything when you decide to show up for you.
Mhm.
I'm not showing up for anybody else. I'm showing up for me.
Come on, baby. Now, I will tell you. I remember. I'm big on etiquette. I'm big on etiquette. I believe everything needs to be done decently and in order. I believe we as women have that daintiness, that grace, about us, but we could be ruthless gracefully. I believe that.
Mm, yeah,
So when you walk into a room, I believe the thing that walks into your room first is your confidence. Because
yeah,
when you walk in confidently, then nobody has to wonder, wow, did she wear those shoes? Because they don't have time to watch the shoes. They had the time to say, who is
yeah,
that?
Mm-hmm.
It it takes over. I remember this one day somebody came up to me at church. I never forgot that. That was about 10 years ago, and he walked up to me and said, "Excuse me, are you a lawyer?" I said, "No." He goes, "So are you a CEO of a big company?" I said, "No." And he says, "But you dress and walk and like you were." And I'm like, "Oh, well, thank you." And between you and me,
Yeah.
on the inside, I
Yeah.
did not feel a thing like that. But
Mm.
what my mother says, when you open that front door and you walk out, it's a light, camera, action, because
Yeah.
you represent yourself, God, her, and everybody in the
Bingo. Mhm.
family. You got to get it together because you represent such a big entity that you, when you walk out, you representing God, and God don't have time to sit down there and to go woe is me. So why would his children,
Right.
why
Right.
would his children do the woe is me? No, baby. You got to wake up in the morning and make things happen. You got to
Yeah.
wake up in the morning excited that
Yeah.
you're above ground. You know how many people
Yeah.
below ground wish they were above ground? Okay, let's not even start a whole Bible
Bingo.
class tonight. But it is, I love the way you said it. It is the currency.
Yes.
It really is the currency for you making things happen. Because if you are about to pitch something to somebody and you don't have that kind of confidence in what you're saying in your product, well, why would somebody want to invest in there?
That's
Come
it.
on. Come on now, baby. Talk to me. Okay.
Because the confidence is our investment in ourselves.
Mhm,
Nobody's
mhm.
gonna invest in us if we don't have that first layer of investment in ourselves, which is
In come on, in ourselves.
in
Okay. In
ourselves.
in ourselves.
Yes.
So before we wrap up, um, I'm going to ask just a question. Give me one, not two, one.
Mhm.
Give me maybe point five of the one,
Mhm.
because we have to give all the rest in the conference. But how do we use the science of shifting your identity
Yeah.
and the tools that could help you be that successful as an entrepreneur? How do we use the science of shifting identity and the tools that you could help in being that successful person in the process?
Absolutely. I'm just gonna give one. And the
Yes.
one that I'm gonna provide is it's gonna sound so simple, but it's about the decision we're deciding to make. That's
Don't
how.
time to me.
The how is indecision. I lived so much of my 20s and before my 20s overzealous about life and wondering why people weren't telling me how to get to X, Y, and Z level. Why
Mhm.
why I didn't get the promotion and how did X, Y, and Z and how do I go from here to here? I was so focused on the how that I focused more on that than the decision I was making about where I was.
I
It
like that.
really was deeply the decision.
Yes. And then also what we filter as is whatever decision you make then, it paves the road to where you're going. So if you decide to make those poor decisions, you have a lot of cleaning up to do before you get to the good road. If you start to make positive decisions,
Yes.
then at least as you're walking down okay, I give you a good example.
Yep.
When I was 8, and I think many people have heard me tell the story. When I was 8, I dreamt that I was a fashion designer. Didn't know what a fashion designer was. Never sewed in my life. Nobody in my family sews at a machine, so that was new to me. But I dreamt it, and it
Mm,
it it, it felt so real that I ran with the idea. I researched it. I looked it up. I lived and breathed it, and all I wanted to do was to be a fashion designer.
mm,
And I studied everything I could. When I went to high school, I found myself in sewing class. Taught myself to sew at 12. It was everything was in my mind because I wanted to see me build that empire of being a fashion designer. That was my goal. I went to the UK, got into the London School of Fashion. I did everything
Mm.
right there. That tunnel vision. Okay, this was it. I wanted to do it. So my point is, you now made the decisions along the way as to how to get there. You could
Yeah.
see the end goal.
Yeah.
Now, when you talk to children now at 8 and 10, and you say, "Hey, what you want to be?" That was the typical question they asked me when I was growing up. You ask these children now, "What do you want to do with them?" I don't know. I don't know. Couldn't be focused. Oh, and I'm like, well, how would you know what it is you're working towards? If you are in the I don't know land, there's no focus, there's no
Yeah.
direction,
Yeah.
you know. And I believe as parents, we have to try, parents, aunties, we have to try to instill that idea of how would you be able to achieve something if you have no idea what it is you're working towards.
Bingo.
That is so big.
Yeah.
That is so big because you don't want to wait till you in your 30s and then realize I spent all that time just doing what? Just being there? Just okay. All right. So yes, I love it. It's the decisions you make. And I am looking forward to having Coach Jalen continue to pour into us for the virtual Leading Ladies Conference. I am super excited to have you on board as
Me
one of our
too.
guest speakers. So tell us how we could get hold of you. That's number one.
Yeah.
I know you have an event coming up before the Leading Ladies Conference, so go ahead and tell us a little bit about that. And then when you're all done with that, I'm going to put you into the waiting room so I could close off. So go ahead.
Absolutely. This was so good. So good. If this is just a part of what we are going to experience at the Leading Ladies Conference, we are in for such a treat. I cannot wait to meet all of the women who decide to be in the room. And we know what happens when we get in the room with each other. Everything changes. So thank you for having the vision and pursuing the vision and for putting us all together to be a part of it. And for those who may want to get connected to me, the easiest way to get connected to me is just by going to jalenajones.com. That's the easiest way, but you can find me on Facebook or LinkedIn as Coach Jalen. And on Instagram, it's Dare to Be a BLK Millionaire. Dare to Be a Black Millionaire. Yes. And I know you asked me about my upcoming experience. A part of identity for Black women who host events is realizing that we can release the identity and the agreement with breaking even. I'm asking Black women to break up with breaking even when they're hosting business related conferences and experiences. So I'm holding a profitable events workshop in Atlanta, Georgia. And if you mention Portia, Dr. Portia, I will make sure that proceeds do go back to you and your movement.
Oh, thank you. So, for those who do not know our movement is where we help a parent who cannot afford to pay for therapy for their child on the spectrum, because as you know, my oldest is on the spectrum. So thank you so much. So ladies, make sure you connect with Coach Jalen. I want you to register so you could hear more about her, let me get it right, supernatural success, the science of shifting your identity as women entrepreneurs. So thank you so much for joining us today. I look forward to having you.
Yes, it was amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
And we will see you in a few minutes.
Yes.
was great. It was fun, but it was very informative. Thank you so much for joining us today. And my guest, Jalen Jones, thank you so much for joining us in the Royal Courts. I want to say that this is going to be the end of our episode for today. For those who want to be a guest speaker on the Royalty Talk podcast and the She TV Ministry show, go ahead and send us an email, info@Portia That way we could get you locked in for the second quarter. I am super excited to have you already as a guest speaker. And for those who haven't registered, please do so. Register for the virtual Leading Ladies Conference. Listen, the ladies are pouring in and I'm super excited about that. So go ahead and register at sheministriestv.com for the Leading Ladies Virtual Conference. I am Dr. Portia Basham. It has been a pleasure and an honor to have you spend your lunch with us in the Royal Courts. And I love to say, don't forget, ladies, you are saved and highly favored to do what thus says God in this season. Do not let anybody else tell you otherwise. I am proud of you. God loves you, and you are doing a great job. I will see you on Friday for another episode of the Royalty Talk Show. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks for tuning in to the Royalty Talk Show with your host, Portia Basham, the talk show and podcast designed for women who are looking to be inspired, motivated, and encouraged. We pray today's show was a blessing to you. Remember to tune in next time for your regular dose of encouragement and affirmation so you can hear from other amazing women from all walks of life who share their stories and advice on everything from personal growth to living their dreams. So until next